Who said all the great comedy movies had to be rated R? I compiled a list of the greatest PG-13 comedy movies ever made, many of which you probably remember being rated R. And as a disclaimer, this list is full of hot takes, many of which I'm sure we're gonna fight over. But I think we can all at least agree on number one. Kicking things off at number 10 with PCU, starring Jeremy Piven, about a high school student who goes on a campus visit to Port Chester University and is inundated by his out-of-control tour guides who try to navigate a day in the life at an overly politically correct university. This movie was originally written as satire and meant to be an exaggeration of the overly politically correct nature of college campuses. But 31 years later, this movie has become a bit of a reality. And this movie was never a really big hit, so it shouldn't come as a surprise at all if you've never seen this movie or even heard of it. This movie is honestly very difficult to find, and I got really lucky with a streaming platform that was on briefly when I watched this a couple of years ago. But yeah, I mean, good luck finding this movie. It seems like your best bet is to purchase the DVD on Amazon, if you remember what a DVD is. But I would definitely say it's worth it, especially if you love this style of comedy.
Never send a woman to do a man's job.
You cocky, pointy-nosed little Reaganite.
Number 9, Easy A, and this would be Emma Stone's second comedy movie after her debut 3 years prior in Superbad. Emma Stone is the head woman in this classic about a girl who lies to her best friend about losing her virginity to a college boy, and the lie spreads, building quite the reputation for her. I think I saw this movie at the perfect time in my life. I got this for Christmas my freshman year. I got it on DVD, ironically, and I remember watching this Christmas night freshman year on my back porch. Definitely seeing this at the very beginning of high school was definitely it was just one of those right place, right time movies.
Take you from the back!
Yeah, that's not gonna make people think you're straight.
Number 8, we've got the classic School of Rock. Definitely one that a lot of people are going to say was ranked way too low on my list. I loved this movie. There are so many PG-13 comedy movies, and even being included on this list means that I really enjoyed the movie. So I want to get that out of the way. We follow a man impersonating a substitute teacher who turns an elementary school class into a rock band. And this was, of course, starring Jack Black. This movie really hits home. This was a movie growing up, whenever we would go on a road trip, we had the TV in the car, and this was always one of the go-to movies that we would watch, and it's been engraved into my brain to the extent that I probably have not forgotten much about this movie. It's a ton of fun. It's got great acting, notably by Jack Black and Miranda Cosgrove, and also an outstanding sense of direction. This movie was actually directed by Richard Linklater, the same director of Dazed and Confused, and Everybody Wants Some as well, and that is another really fun movie that I highly recommend if you haven't heard of it.
You're a fat loser and you have body odor.
All right.
But getting into number 7 and another fighting point, we've got Anchorman. Again, another movie that I genuinely love. I feel like a lot of people would probably put this around number 2, maybe number 3 on their list. This is probably one of the ones that definitely tops out as one that people would just assume was rated R. And this movie, of course, follows the story of Ron Burgundy, news anchor in San Diego, and poses the dramatic question of, can men and women coexist in the workplace? This movie came out in the golden age for comedy movies and at the height of the partnership between Adam McKay and Will Ferrell. And this movie's got one of, if not the most legendary casts of all time. Starring Will Ferrell, we've also got Steve Carell, Paul Rudd, who's my second favorite comedic actor of all time. Vince Vaughn actually comes in as well. He's my favorite comedy movie actor of all time. David Koechner. This cast is almost unfair that they got away with casting these many great comedic movie stars into one film.
I read somewhere that their periods attract bears.
Okay, we are just on a roll now because this is another one that I think people are going to say I'm not not ranking fairly on my list, and that's Happy Gilmore. I'm sure everyone has at least seen this movie. It's quite the classic. Pretty much everyone who's seen this, it definitely had an impression on. The 1996 Adam Sandler comedy movie about a bad-tempered hockey player who enters a golf tournament to earn enough money to get his grandma's house back. And you know, this is another one of those movies that will definitely forever hold a special place in my heart. Just like I mentioned with School of Rock, this would be a movie that we would at least watch 2-3 times a year. I mean, so I've probably seen this movie, I don't know, 30, 40 times. It earns its way as a classic for a reason. It's just so iconic. I mean, this is Adam Sandler's best movie, I will say. You know, we got a couple of really great cameos with Ben Stiller and Bob Barker. You know, I know they're in the process right now of producing number 2, and, you know, I'm kind of scared. Do we even watch Happy Gilmore number 2? Is this going to put spoils on the original? Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Put that stuff down, it's my grandmother!
You're probably wondering what the hell could he have ranked ahead of these movies. If you weren't ready to fight me already, we might be nearing it. My number 5, and that is, in my opinion, the greatest stoner comedy of all time. We've got Dude, Where's My Car, starring Sean William Scott and Ashton Kutcher. It just does such a great job of not taking itself too seriously, and like it just commits to the bit. The movie follows The movie follows Chester and Jesse as they wake up a morning after a wild night fueled by drugs. They don't remember anything. After having no idea where they parked their car, they find out that they are a part of a mission to save the world and need to find the Continuum Transfunctioner to save the universe before time runs out. I mean, it's no surprise to me at all that this movie just bombed with critics. I mean, if you don't understand the style of humor, like, you are going to hate this movie because it doesn't have the strongest character development. It doesn't have a very strong plot, but it has one. I could definitely see this movie in a screenwriting class. I could see them make an example out of this movie, and not for the right reasons. But you know what? We love this movie. We love Sean William Scott. We loved him in American Pie and Road Trip, and you know, he just knocks it out of the park again in Dude, Where's My Car? Ashton Kutcher, excellent co-star, has such great chemistry with Sean. It's not a cinematic masterpiece, okay? I get it, but you know, it's just so damn funny and just so much fun. You know, just every scene is just so fun. Siskel and Ebert are not giving 2 thumbs up for this movie, and who gives a f? You know, the movie was rewarded. It did amazing at the box office, and this is one of the top cult classic comedy movies of all time. Seth Rogen and Jake Gyllenhaal actually auditioned for the roles of Jesse and Chester. Obviously, Sean and Ashton got these roles, and you know, that's pretty crazy to think about. I don't know what this movie would look like if the roles were flipped. And Jason Reitman actually turned this movie down twice. He was hell-bent on not directing it, and you know what? That's probably a good thing as well. I mean, you really need a full buy-in when you're making a movie, especially when you're making something this wild. You definitely need a director that is going to resonate with it and be willing to take on the challenge. If you actually resonated with this pick and you love stoner comedies, you might be interested in my directorial debut, which was released last year, entitled Rosetta Stone, which tells the story of a stoner who gets his autistic classmate high in exchange for homework help and learns that he's in more than he bargained for when his classmate makes advances at friendship. And I will give you that movie for free when you sign up to my email list at hometownsummer.com. It's called hometownsummer.com because that's actually the name of my second feature, which is currently in post-production. But yeah, I will be posting the link in the pinned comment in the description below. You sign up for the email list, I will send you a link to Rosetta Stone that you can watch entirely for free and also stay up to date with the progress of Hometown Summer. Let's get back into it at number 4 with Starsky and Hutch. And I know this is another hot take, but you know, art is subjective. We value authenticity here, so I'm just going with how I feel. The movie stars Ben Stiller as David Starsky and Owen Wilson as Ken Hutchinson, and brings back the television show from the 1970s to the big screen. The buddy cop comedy follows their misadventures in the pursuit of locking up drug lord Reese Feldman, played by Vince Vaughn. And the movie is directed by comedic legend Todd Phillips, who you absolutely know as the director of the Hangover series movies. He also directed the classics Old School and Due Date, among others, and dipped his toe in more serious films in The Joker and The Joker Folie à Deux. I swear, Ben Stiller did just such an amazing job with this movie. It doesn't matter what the characteristics of the character are. If you give him the role, he will pull it off, and he will pull it off at a very high level. And leading into number 3, another movie that Owen Wilson starred in, and the last of our hot takes, so we can breathe a breath of fresh air after this one. I'm gonna go with The Internship. It stars Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn about two down-on-their-luck middle-aged salesmen who score an internship at Google. The movie's nowhere near the genius of Wedding Crashers, but the floor is also gonna be astronomically high for any comedy starring both Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. Any movie that he's starring in, all of the love's gonna go to Vince Vaughn. He knows how to get the laugh, and he's going to get it one way or another every scene he's on screen for.
Let's go, lesson learned, lesson learned. What the f does this have to do with computers?
And coming in at number 2 in a movie that I'm sure that we can all get on the same page about again, and that is Mean Girls, starring Lindsay Lohan and Rachel McAdams. And I just fucking love this movie. As I'm sure you're aware at this point, Mean Girls is about a teenage girl navigating the social hierarchy of high school in the US after moving from Africa when she finds herself entrenched in the ruthless popular clique known as the Plastics. As a side note, it's pretty wild to think about how Rachel McAdams played a high school student in this movie in 2004, and then in 2005 we got Wedding Crashers. So just 1 year later, she's playing presumably someone who's in their mid-30s. She just feels so fitting for both of them. Mean Girls is just brilliant from start to finish. Tina Fey really deserves a gold star for her story. It's one of those movies that, in a vacuum, you would think would be one that predominantly would just have a female audience, and it might only be a 1-quadrant movie. I would argue is a 4-quadrant movie. I think that at least everyone who has at least been to high school can connect with this movie. Everyone knows these characters. Everyone's had these experiences, and, it just does such a great job of just putting you in such a familiar place.
Here you go, one for you. And none for Gretchen Wieners. Bye.
And number 1, I'm thinking most of us are going to agree with this one. Obviously, let me know in the comments below, if you don't, what your rankings would look like, but I don't think you can choose any other movie but Dodgeball. The movie follows a group of misfit gym goers who form a dodgeball team in order to save their gym from being taken over by a corporate chain by entering a dodgeball tournament with a cash prize of $50,000. This movie is hilarious, with shining performances by Ben Stiller and Justin Long, but no one could ever top Vince Vaughn. Really going off of what I said with respect to The Internship, he does it in Dodgeball at an even higher level. He makes just such great comedic choices, just a great classic comedy. But all right, we made it through all the hot takes, and we made it through a list that was strictly PG-13. I'm curious what movies you feel like I left off this list. But if you're ready to take things up a notch and dive into some R-rated classics, I've got you covered. I rank your favorite R-rated comedies of the 2000s here.